It was funny.
Who else came out with him?
That Tyler Chronicles dude who on Wild.
That nigga ain't that funny to me.
No, he actually was okay.
He was decent.
He's okay. He ain't
He's a decent storyteller.
Yeah. He's
It was kind
that
of
type
hard
of
because he wasn't as funny. He kept staring at me laughing. I was just like, I don't want you to say nothing because I'm not smirking.
Was the fat dude there too?
Nah,
He was in the back talking about the dude from Cannon Fort Valley. I saw him in the back. Which color was there too? He walked out the back with the dreads. Nah, Carlos came on stage.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode.
I always do this shit.
Words with KB. We got the usual suspects in the building, man. We got my man Basic Logic.
Yep.
And we got my man C Knowledge in this motherfucker.
C Knowledge, chronic knowledge.
All that. -1. -1. And I'm KB, man.
Feds watching.
Feds watching. Y'all be careful about who on your damn Facebook, man. Facebook is
it's not even that. It's the people on the people of Facebook. Like, Facebook got ghost profiles of people who not even on Facebook. If you sync your contacts.
Oh,
so it's stuff like that you can't help.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Damn. Well, I don't know. I have to figure this shit to get back to my coworker because they be on me like, oh, you have your radio show going. I'm like, nigga. I was like, you talking about the DJ? He's like, no, you got a radio show. I'm like, yeah, think about it. I said, yeah, we got a little radio show going.
I went home, man. All my cousins knew about it. Like, yeah, I seen your show. Like, how you know?
Bro, you need to tell them to subscribe and all that.
But they ain't even go live. Like, I don't even, you know how it pops up to you who watch?
Yeah.
I ain't see their names.
Because they ain't on your friends list.
But how you watching? They are my friends.
I don't know, bro. We gonna get this under control though, so we know who the fuck doing what and blah 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 blah. But the episode today, we're gonna be talking about fatherhood, man. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, my man. Yo. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you too, man. Doing the stepdaddy
all
thing for a while.
Stepdaddies and the men taking care of kids out there like yourself.
And the Godfather. I'm a Godfather. Let's go. Look, I'm in there.
Now you a real Godfather too, cause you be there at first day of school and graduation.
Nigga, I'm paying for braces.
Damn.
So
that's real. Insurance cover that?
Not all of it, I don't think. Yeah,
baby girl gotta get some braces.
I couldn't even. I said I could throw you something on it. I couldn't even put a number. That ain't no braces cost that much.
You even get braces before all your adult teeth in?
Like, that's it.
Adult teeth by then.
They be there by the time you like 10.
Yeah.
I was.
But you know these little girls have periods at like 10, 11.
Bro, I know a girl, she got a period like 8, 9.
You know when I lost my last tooth? I was at Fort Valley.
Shut up. You didn't lose no tooth at Fort Valley. That nigga said baby teeth.
He was online with his baby teeth.
Like, big brother, I still got my baby teeth.
That should be your line name, big brother baby tooth.
How the hell you lose your tooth?
My teeth was just...
it just came out one day.
It might have been like
that's because of drinking.
The summer before I came there, but I had baby teeth for.
It just came
Time.
out.
Damn, boy,
it was like one in the back.
Oh, okay, that's crazy.
Funny.
Oh, shout out to the photographer in the building.
Oh yeah, that's another follow right there, Eli, man. Well, what's your socials, man? Let me shout it out. Eli from the VI on Instagram.
Yeah,
on Instagram, man. He do photography. What else you do, man? Weddings, man. The wedding
Great
parties,
dance,
all
DJ.
that, man. Any kind of photography you need, we gonna put.
Step.
See there?
Maternity.
Yeah, maternity shoot.
Oh, I said what?
You know
what that is,
right? You talking about what you were talking about? I ain't gonna say what it is, but shit.
I know my maternity shoot. I did too.
I don't like the maternity pictures.
Why not? You don't like so many things.
No, it's always weird. It was kind. It's you know why it's kind of weird. It's weird when.
No, it's weird when they're naked. I don't like those.
Yeah, like those be the weird
like
when they be sitting there and they want to take their clothes off and hold, and it's funny. But everybody got to do the classic. If you have a little girl, every man got to do the classic palm. Hold your little girl.
Yeah, that's
classic now.
That's a classic.
Those are weird too.
I didn't know that was
everybody. Everybody know you hold your baby like you hold your little girl in your palm.
The baby's naked and the mama's naked. Those are
What's the purpose of that?
I don't know.
I don't
Adam
know.
and Eve. I
don't know how I
guess
feel
the
about
original
that.
person. Human, animal.
I'm good, bro.
I think it's just more like because it's such a blessing to be able for a child to be born.
Yeah,
and I think it's just like embracing your body.
I ain't gonna flex
everything like that. But
I get a
I don't
six-pack.
like
I'm gonna do it.
If I got a 6-pack, I'm taking my shirt off all the time anyway.
Y'all are 30 plus. The 6-pack is not.
Oh, you crazy for boy? These niggas 55 30, getting it popping.
Look, 30s is the new 20s. 30s is the new 20s.
Who is 30 getting a 6-pack at 30?
You about to be looking at a nigga doing it. Okay,
a bunch of old niggas I see on YouTube.
Y'all diets aren't good.
All you gotta do is switch diets.
Y'all diets aren't good enough.
I'm solid to the weekend. All right, man. But fatherhood, man. God damn it.
Well, yeah, that's in fatherhood. We just saw somebody with a dad body win the
heavyweight champion.
He was built like every dad in America.
Boy, when I saw that
fights with young swole dudes,
bro,
too.
when you first see the matchup, it looked like a dad about to swing on a nigga that done tried one of his kids.
Daughter,
like yeah, exactly. I mean, you ain't get my face on, man. Hey, look. If I catch you, I'm gonna get you.
Hey, cause even in the match, bro, he looked like he still didn't know, but then he started getting there swaggy, like, oh shit.
Once he got in, he was like, pow, pow. Oh, hold up. Nigga on his knee and took that breath. He said, hold up.
That dude was tall as fuck, too.
There ain't no reason why he lost that fight.
It looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
He just got caught. They said he can't take no punch.
And he only had 2 sets. They said he only has 2 punches. That's why every time you saw him punch, if he had a third punch, he didn't know what to do. And that's when the Mexican dude came in. Yeah. And they said the Mexican dude had 100 amateur fights in Mexico. The nigga was doing 3 fights a month.
He been throwing hands.
Bruh, 3 fights a month for 3 years, nigga. He ready to fight. And with that body still.
Well, he did that for the fathers then, man. He did it for the fathers, man.
He did it for the dads, man.
So all right, let's get this. So we did a fatherhood episode last year, man. I want us to play that this week sometime. You know what I'm saying? I might release it just as an audio thing again on Facebook or something so people can listen to it. It was a really good episode, man. But I want to
Father's
Day. Come on, stay with us, bro. Stay with us.
We did one last year.
Stay with us,
been
bro.
about a year.
But yeah, man. So I want to know. Let's get some background information on on y'all, because y'all are the like more direct fathers here. When did you become a father? See knowledge.
Oh man, was that 2010? Like 9 years ago.
That was 2010.
Yep, 9 years ago. About to come up on a decade. It was
2010. You had a son.
I had a son, and then a year after that, I had my daughter.
Man,
wasn't playing with it. But nah, man, I love it, man. Like I couldn't trade it for the world, man. Like
you really do love being a father, man.
Cause my kids are dope, man. My kids are cool.
Bro.
They
Can
funny.
We take the shot, bro?
Let's take this shot.
Bad, man. Hey, man. This is out to all the fathers out there, man. Happy Father's Day.
Much appreciated.
Y'all can't pull out.
Fuck, you can go and have both of them. That's my favorite line of this shit. I was like, shit, I fuck with Childish Gambino. But nah, I mean, my kids are dope, man. They smart. They cool. I couldn't trade it for the world. And then like now, I got some plans in place, and then it's really finna get popping. I done wrote out a whole, man. I done wrote out a whole plan from like now to 2036. Okay. So you know what I'm saying, like. Cause I need my kids to be straight by the time I turn 50, so they can throw me a dope 50 birthday party.
So you say a plan? Did you have a plan, like any kind of thoughts or anything about
having the kids?
Yeah, before you had actually had the kid, did you say, well, if I had a kid, like, did you even consider like abortions or anything like that?
No, I mean, when it comes to that, my whole thing is women's choice. So women always make the choice. Okay. But for me. Well, this is what happened, man. I went to therapy and I worked it out. What happened was, remember I was in that car accident?
Yeah.
When we ride across and stuff. So like after that, and in that summer, I went through a period of like immortality thoughts, like almost like, bro, because I was messed up. Like we was in a bad accident. Like I could have really been.
I honestly don't remember how bad the accident was. Like I don't remember seeing a picture or anything.
My head was split open. Like,
oh wow.
I was out. Like I didn't leave until like 2 days later. Like I was out. Woke up to these niggas laughing.
I know me. I wasn't here.
Jarvis, it was Jarvis and Travis. Like they always had jokes. And I hear him joking. I'm waking up. Brad was there.
But what was the immortality?
Like he jumped swell like a cartoon.
Like it was like a cartoon lump.
I went home, and the crazy thing is that I mean, not to really interrupt, but to interrupt, but
please figure it out.
No, but I probably would have been riding with y'all because y'all know I always what.
Did you take your shot?
Yeah.
I'm still sipping mine.
Everybody took. We all took together.
You definitely would have rolled with me.
I took my shot, bro. I know what the fuck you did.
What?
You pull your shit in mine.
Bro, I took my shot with y'all. Rewind the camera back.
Bro, ain't no fucking rewind button.
Well, you probably didn't take yours.
Go ahead, bro. You said, how did you get to immortality and mortality?
Because it was in an accident. I was supposed to die.
So you think you was supposed to die?
Bro, my head was bust open. I had to, like, after they released me, I had to, like, go back to, like, the little therapy session type shit. I was fucked up.
Damn.
And then that summertime came, and then it was
and this was before the accident. No, this was before the baby.
Yeah, this is before the baby.
Okay, right before the baby.
This is right before the baby. So all that happens. I'm going through these thoughts. So then the next year comes. So that's the year that, just cross. We on the yard heavy.
Okay.
I'm going through these thoughts of like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be here or not, right? Because
yeah, I'm
here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Bro, when I tell you I was just going on a streak of I was just out there.
Now explain out there.
You know what was out there?
I mean, he was on them. All right.
I mean, he was talking to a lot.
That's what we call him.
Talking to a lot of different women.
So that's where you were in that time. In that time frame.
Time frame. And
I remember. Yeah, I remember this time.
Yeah, we was out there. Life after death. We're gonna do some jersey retirements.
I guess that was the appropriate name for you then. That's what you was thinking. Life after death.
I mean, it was all apropos. And I remember it was the only the cool thing about it though. Remember afterwards they were like, man, the scene was they be pledging, boy.
Oh yeah, they thought we fucked this nigga up. Because every time somebody crossed, something like accident happened to them. Before I crossed, I had a big old bandage all over my head because goddamn feed the frat. Fucking Willie did some shit and burned my fucking hand. So we had some shit like that, and they were like, "Man, them niggas."
I don't know, but I can't do. Man, I don't know about apple pie, man.
Oh man, you gone, bro? Hey, bro, all right, I'm gonna hit you up after, bro. All right, cool.
So yeah, man. So I was just going through that whole little period. So I didn't think about having. I didn't really think about having kids or not. I just knew that, I just got to a point where my mind, I was so convinced that I would have a child before I got married. I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
I just knew I was gonna have a kid before I got married. So things just came into existence.
So you still were going through all that, and then you had a baby.
Yeah, I had a baby.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I had a baby.
That was a lot of shit going on.
It was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't trade it for the world because I like the age that my kids are at. I like the age that I'm at.
Yeah.
When I mapped out the rest of this plan, I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
this is gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then my whole goal is to have them all set up. So by the time I turn 50, they'll be financially set and good enough to throw me a dope 50th party. They'll be able to
on the long. He on the long. He looking at the end of this shit.
So I'm looking like they be able to hit y'all up and be like, Uncle Kelvin, Uncle Ed, about to throw my dad this, that, and third. We rented this venue out. See,
y'all practice geeked up.
When you broke, you can't throw your parents no 50 or 50.
Oh,
your parents kind of know you
can't,
and they know you can't throw a 50. So it's like,
you gotta make sure they know the value that you brought to their life, and if you did that, and most of the girls gonna really take care of your sons, kind of just go out and live on their own.
And that's the best thing about it, man. Like I know my daughter's gonna be there.
She got you.
She gonna get me, and my son's pretty compassionate. So
okay,
I think he'll hold it down, but he's definitely a mama's boy. So if he, you know what I'm saying? He'll do what he has to do over there. But I love it though.
Okay, cool. So basic, man. I want to talk about how. So I'll ask you the same question. I know it's gonna be a slightly different answer. When did you become a father?
It's kind of a
unique question. And I asked that to you because I want to know, like, when did you see yourself as a dad now, kind of? In your sense. Explain your situation. And I want to know, like, what moment did you consider yourself a father?
He told him to sit his ass down. Sit your ass down. Whoa.
When he cussed at you.
Whoa. I felt that.
Well, with me, it was a little different because even, my soon-to-be wife, now fiance, but I guess by the time you listen to the pod, we'll be married.
Yeah.
But,
you're
married. So
not unmarried no more.
She said she don't like that junk anyway. She don't like so you're gonna be undead. Unmarried stuff on the pod.
You're gonna be walking dead.
But no, it took a while because, like I was saying, my fiance, she had a child.
Right.
And So it was a little different because I remember like the first, like when we got real serious, like first Father's Day, she's like real big on holidays. So she like bought me a gift and stuff. It was kind of weird because I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people, you know, because I didn't grow up with my dad. I didn't really ever celebrate Father's Day. And I was one of those people that would like shoot my mom a text on Father's Day.
Oh,
so like I was like one of, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of people was. It was like, cause that's what you knew.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any like, you know, I didn't really have any positive older male figures that would be like there's no one in my, even now, there's no one in my life I look at like, yeah, you were like a father figure to me.
Oh, really?
I got like older frat brothers that are like big brothers, but they're not, you know, father figures per se.
Yeah, we always say we raised you in the frat house now.
Yeah. So
for real,
that was good and bad.
Stewart,
yeah, good and bad.
Stewart was my cousin.
Stewart was your cousin, bro.
That was our pet.
Let me get some food, bro. Let me get some food.
Let it make you tough.
Right. So,
nah, but it
when was it that you said, okay, I am a father now,
I'm
pretty much?
Up,
yeah, I'm a stepdad.
I'm the daddy.
Well, I was always doing like father type things, I guess, far as with, you know, just being there for that guidance and leadership. And I'm still learning because it is a little different, especially when you're a quote unquote stepdad. Because my mom always told me, because me and my sister have different dads, but we never thought of each other as like step siblings. My mom always made sure we didn't, or half or whatever. Like she never really liked that term. She was like,
my kids, I don't do that.
Y'all are family.
Yep.
So like it was a little different because I didn't have a good relationship with my quote unquote stepfather. And good is like a understatement. Like I had horrible relationships with most of them. So I was always kind of worried about that. So like when the relationship between me and my, you know, quote unquote stepson like was evolving, I just always kind of swayed away because I never wanted to. It's always kind of harder because you don't want to be too stern because I didn't want to be like that person that you don't like. You also don't want to be too lax because you still need to have their respect.
That respect.
So, but Tess, she was good with that because she always backed me up when, you know, I would step in for discipline too. And I wasn't like, I was never like the type of person, like, even though, you know, we were raised older where we, you know, we beat our kids. Well, we got beat as kids or whatever.
Whoopins.
They were beatings.
They were beatings. Get that fucking belt, boy.
They were beatings.
Golly.
But I was always one of the people, I'm more of like, make you do calisthenics and like, with me, you used to work worse than me. Like, you get beat all day, but it's just like how it was when we was online, like that getting talked to and lectured, that shit worse. Like, if someone got a lecture, you'd be like, man, just beat me so I can cry and go to sleep.
It's like that punishment or whooping. I used to be like, hey, man, whoop me so I can go outside.
Exactly. I don't like them taking away my freedoms and shit. Like, no game. I'm like, God damn.
First time I was like, nah, I'm going to go to punishment. I thought about it.
So that's like the new punishment, like, because that
like
was
calisthenics and stuff.
Yeah, so that was like with me.
So was that the moment when you started doing disciplining things that you thought like, okay,
having to do different things, like I said.
Like what are the things?
Well, like just having to be there, like when child is like sick or things such as that nature, when you have to step in that role and it's not nobody there but you, the child, and you know, whoever your significant other is, like, and then like I think like maybe like last year or the year before that was when I like first like I was able to kind of embrace the whole like Father's Day thing. But Father's Day is still like a minuscule holiday. Like, it's not hyped up. I still don't know where it is, know when it is, even because like it's so much hype around Mother's Day. It's like Mother's Day is coming, like it's like a probably one of the biggest holidays of the year next to like Thanksgiving,
right?
You know,
Valentine's
like,
up there.
Yeah, somewhat.
Male Species Saturday.
Yeah.
Shout out to Male Species Saturday, man. Y'all celebrating that. But it was,
you know, from listening to Kelvin, because Kelvin was always big on that, like, not downplaying Father's Day. So I guess a couple years ago is when I really embraced, like, okay, I am a stepfather, which is always kind of weird because even where was I at? I was somewhere. Were y'all with me? Well, this one girl, she was just like, I think we were going to. We might have been going to get his sizes or shoes or something. Cause this dude, he wearing not the same size shoe as me, but he's not in the boy size anymore.
He's
so.
that grown man 9, that grown man 10.
Hey, bro, is he firing back at you yet?
No.
He ain't cursing at you, a little side eye every now and then.
Yeah. See, he ain't at that age yet.
He 10, he preteen.
Nah,
it's coming.
No, teen. Cause see, I work with kids. It's gonna be teen. When he gets that 13.
Oh, that when they hit.
That's when you hear a teen on him, you tell him, yeah, you a little preteen.
You ready for that, bro?
No,
I mean, he kind of tall too.
He gonna be tall.
You gonna get folded up? Like what you talking about? Like nah, but you still like it's sometimes little stuff because like kids they're maturing a lot faster than we did because they have access to so much more stuff now. So you still see a little like huffing and puffing sometimes. You be like, what you said? Like, you know, you flash back to your mom and your mom used to be like, boop. Like we was more, I feel like back in the day, we were more scared of our parents than the kids are now.
It was
like,
more of a fear. And
yeah,
I think now we want to
fear.
look for like real respect. Like they lean a lot on fear. I think we looking for more respect.
Like mutual
we
respect.
more talk to our kids and explain to them. Like sometimes you got whooping and you like, you weren't totally clear on what the whooping was
I didn't
for.
get that many whoopings growing up, but my brother had hella whoopings. Some of the whoopings he got, I didn't understand. Like it was sometimes he got whooped, and I'd just be like, man, I think I'm on a problem.
Yeah, and then a lot of times they whoop, they be mad when they do it. So I'm like, bro, what kind of whooping are you giving?
Yeah, my little brother, like Carrie used to get hella whoopings. Carrie used to be, but see, Carrie used to do shit like look at you and say like, I'm gonna kill you. And my mom be like, oh, for real? Get that belt then. Like, nigga, like, I'm gonna show you, you don't love me.
Well, she should have been asking questions like, why you say that?
Fuck that, I'm gonna get that shit out you.
Yeah. And that was a real thing. They was like, I'll just beat this bad behavior out of you. And that's like not how it works.
You didn't know what it was.
I mean, anger, of course. Like once you start going to therapy, you realize it's just a bunch of fucking anger and like
and you don't know how to express that anger, and
you
it come out crazy.
Anger, and it goes back to what we're talking about today, fatherhood. Because like this started happening when my dad and my mom split up. You know what I'm saying? My brother was in the middle. I knew my dad. My brother kind of knew, and my sister didn't know at all. Really. Right. So my brother just knew. Well, like where's this dude at? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause my brother was a hyper type of kid, and my dad he'll play. So where this dude at? You know what I mean? And just all that resentment, all that anger, it just comes out. You know what I mean?
I got you. Okay, so when you said when you did the discipline thing, that's kind of when you got there, and I guess I just want to move on. And
I wouldn't really say discipline. Like it was more of like
you said, like
I think it was more into like having to be there for when your child isn't feeling that well, and be responsible. Like, and there's nobody else for you to look up to but you and your significant other. Like, y'all have to work as a team,
right?
Because if they're not feeling well because Trey has sickle cell. So you know, I had never really been in the hospital before, but sometimes you know when he has his pain crises, he has to go, and it's like a different type of pain, just that he can't deal with it, and it's kind of difficult. So it puts you into a different mind state that you can't really, and as a parent, it's like you can't really help them.
You just got to be there for them. You can't. It's nothing that you can do. Yeah,
it's still something that I'm learning, but that was like a big thing, just having to be there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I guess for me to answer that question, it's not a long question. I mean, just people like, you want to be the godfather? I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Now is that is that cultural? Because when I tell white people about like godfathers and godmothers, they look at me crazy. Like, what is that?
No, I think white people have godfathers and godmothers for sure.
I think
that's like Catholic people.
Yeah, I think it's a religion thing.
Yeah, there's a whole movie called The Godfather.
I don't know, because I still think it's like it's not as common as we think.
It's not. It does not originate with black people.
I wouldn't say black people.
So the way they break it down is the communal part of it. Like, so you know how we originally came up in villages. So you would normally your brother would be a default godfather.
I thought it had to be outside your family.
No, normally your brother would be a default godfather. Yeah. Even to the point that if you died, your brother would take on your wife. Yeah. That's how some of the people in the
they did do that sometimes.
So like that's how that godfather community thing worked. When we came over here, it's kind of like I think white people. It's kind of like white people in fraternities. When you talk to them about being in a fraternity, they'll tell you, "Oh, I used to be." And you tell them you're still, and they be like, they look at you like they don't understand.
Hey, you ain't in college no more.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing with the Godfather. Like they get that moniker, but we take it as, hey, you the goddaddy, and I'm gonna need you to hold it down. Yeah. Like, cause I mean, I've seen people change goddads. You know what I mean?
And
like,
that's crazy.
I mean, depending on what you need, you know.
Yeah. And then I don't even know what the role of a godfather is, because it's like I'm thinking like the official definition is if something happened to them, you take the kid, and I'm like,
that's the official definition. That's how it normally used to be set up. Like if it hits the fan,
I gotta take over. And I'm like, man, I ain't in a position to do that for none of my godchildren at that time. So I'm like, I don't know how that works. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, like, I'm not even the closest person with the kids. Like I'm Brandon's godfather to his 2 kids. But I only seen the kid like 3 or 4 times, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, if some shit happen, I know I'm not in the top 10 to goddamn take over. Yeah, but people got different definitions of what that person is supposed to do and, you know, all that. So, I mean, I get it. You know, I appreciate the offers to be a godparent, but that's what it is. But now I want to switch topics and go, not topics, but kind of switch to like, what do you feel like a good father looks like in general in 2019? I know we probably touched on this on the last fatherhood episode, which y'all should check that out. I'll have the post up soon. But what do you think fatherhood should look like now in 2019? Because it's a lot different from, you know, back when we were getting ready. Start with you, C Knowledge.
Well, it's crazy because me and my boy, shout out to Eldridge, he was on the pod. We were talking about this the other day because it's this movie on Netflix called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. And, you know, it's about the boy that's in the African village. They're going through a drought, and he builds this windmill to bring water, like irrigation system. But throughout the movie, you see the father and the son just battling almost, right? And out of that, we had a conversation about, man, we realized there's 3 things that a father needs to provide to their child, right? So in 2019, it's probably more than ever, right? So the first thing we talked about was like trust and belief, right? Trust and believe the fact that, look, I raised you, you my son. I'm gonna have to trust that as my son, if you bring something to me as a man, I'm gonna have to trust that I can listen to it because you my son, not just a child, right? And I need to believe in you. The second thing is resources, because like in the movie we see that the resources that he needed was that bike. He basically him and his dad was arguing because he needed a bike to get the windmill to work, and the dad's like, no, I'm not finna. This is the only bike we have. I got to travel to get the food. Like, no, you can't get this bike. You know, African dads is too hard nosed with it. So resources, you had to be you as a father need to be able to provide resources to your child. Period. Like they're gonna need it, especially as they get older. Resources for like a dream or anything. Like it's a different type of feeling when your child comes to you at 18 and needs something. Like this is opportunity, pops. I need this.
Right.
You, however old you are, you should be able to provide.
Right.
The third thing. Actual help. Like the third thing we said was actual hands-on help. Right. You as a father need to be able to actually help your child. Like if your child comes to you and says, so out of those 3 things, your child comes to you and say, Dad, I got this idea. Right. And you know your child has talent. So you need to trust and believe in his talent. First thing. Okay, got you. What's your idea? Bake shop. Because, you know, I've been baking since this age.
Oh, yeah. You got the hands-on experience with that.
Y'all
supposed to be doing the
lemonade stand in a couple weeks.
Lemonade.
So we're doing
lemonade and...
Lemonade and cheesecake.
Okay, lemonade and cheesecake.
Yeah,
okay.
So I want to bake, right? So boom. So we've been doing this all these years, and I got to believe in that. So now I need to be able to be, as a father, give you resources to start this business. Because, of course, you're a child. You probably don't have the full resources. Or you're a young adult. You don't have the full resources. So I should be able to fund that. Right. Then I should also come into your store, help paint, set up, call people, whatever it is, all that as a father. Now, and that's just the overarching providing and security.
So those are the 3 things you
Those
think.
are the 3 main things.
Main things.
Like,
There's plenty of other things.
Okay. Yeah, to be a successful father. Because like you can look at it, you can think about, like if you don't have a father, right, you don't get those 3 things. It kind of puts you a little further back. Even if you do have a father, you only get 1 out of 3 things, you still can recognize the lack. Right. You know what I mean? So you want to aspire to have those 3 things. And at the end of the movie, those 3 things are given. The boy gets the windmill going. The water comes in. He saves the village. The dad looking like, I'm glad I believed in you. But, you know, son also kind of like, we could do this early.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. You got any, What do you think fatherhood should look like, man? You coming into a marriage now, man, and so fatherhood is you probably have your own kid popping out in about 2 years. Cowlers with them big ass ears. They gonna have big ears, nigga. If not, they better not cut those small ears, nigga.
What your kids gonna have?
Nigga, shit, all this goodness right here, huh?
Come out with a beard.
Hey, Apache one too.
All right, Anthony Hamilton. But yeah, with me, I was just trying to think of 3 things.
You don't have to, bro. That's just his list. What?
Yeah.
Just tell me in general with fatherhood, and we got a lot of questions to get through, and call in. So
cool.
make it.
I'm still searching on that because with me not growing up with my father, I can only look at things that I've seen from other fathers. I would be like, yeah, that's something. I'm one of those people. I look at what other people are doing and take the positives and the negatives and try to implement it into my own lifestyle. So I would say one thing for me is like, father should be there like as a protector. You know, so protecting the household. You know, that could be like physically. You know, whether you believe in your right to bear arms or whatever that is, or you know, just like if someone comes into your household or just to keep things away, whether you believe in, you know, the whole spiritual aspect, you should just be the leader and protector of your household.
Let me get my daddy.
Stuff like that. Like if they come to you with a problem, you should have a solution. Another thing to me is like as a role model, you should be a positive role model. Like if you have a son, you should be someone we would look at like, hey, I want to be like my pops.
Oh, but let me tell you, and that'll catch y'all. Look, I'm glad you said that. A lady said this the other day, and I'm glad you said that even though a father should be in a child's life, not all fathers should be in all their children's lives, because that, like you said, that positive role model, because you know I work with kids. So we at the park the other day, little kids.
So you said, let me get your statement right first. You saying
all fathers should not be in their children's lives if they're not going to be positive.
Oh, okay, because they're not whole people
because
themselves.
They're not going to be positive.
Yeah, that goes back into what you said.
Because they're not because this little boy came to us, and this is what he said. The little boy said, "Hey," you know, me and Els wrote the kids. He said, "Hey, give me that bike." He was like, "Who you talking to?" Pointed to Els. He said, "You, old trash ass, hoe ass nigga."
Oh, how old was he?
Had to be 8 or 9.
God damn.
Oh, trash ass, hoe ass nigga. Wow. So he said, who you talking to? You better watch your mouth. You need some respect right here. He said, the little boy said, "I don't give a fuck. My daddy kill you in these streets."
Wow.
Then he came to me and said, "Let me get some of them condoms." I said, "What you need condoms for?" This is a true story on everything. I said, "What you need condoms for?" "Put on my wee-wee."
Oh,
I said,
Lord.
"Your wee-wee for what?" "Because I'm out here fucking." I said, me and Elza walked away.
How y'all walk away, bro?
We had to walk away because we didn't know what to say. Bro, we were so off guard. And we talked to our the director about it, and she just said, "Look, we know we be promoting that all fathers," but she said, "You're going to find out that in this field, you're going to realize not all fathers need to be in that house." Because that's where you be learning that bullshit from.
My challenge to that, when I say the positive role model thing,
because you right about that, they gotta be positive.
Because you could turn it around the other way. Because, and not to get on to a whole nother subject, but it's the same thing. It's a lot of negative mothers out there too that are forced to have the kids with them. So, but the thing with me is, you need to be a positive role model. But if your father is a negative role model, I still feel like the children may not need to be around that, but they need to see that, because what'll happen a lot of times, like a lot of things that I battle with, I feel like my father might have battled with the same things. So maybe if I mean, just things in general. I mean, I'm not getting into,
video game addiction.
No, like just in general. I mean,
can't give me one thing that's not so deep.
Video game.
Mean, I guess really just with being a black man. Like it's things that like your mother cannot teach you, like how you have to handle yourself in certain situations. Like even with me, with being in corporate America, we have to, straddle that line about, being strong but not too strong, that we're intimidating to other people, because the black man is very intimidating to a lot of other people. Like a lot of people in other races, and people always think of us as aggressive, and we'll express ourselves. And a lot of times people take us expressing ourselves as aggression. So we always have to learn how to watch our tone in different levels. But with me, like, even if I was able just to talk to him about different things, like a lot of people kind of get on me about like not being like quote unquote athletic, even though I'm tall. But it was because my mom wasn't in sports at all. So, you know, I never had anybody to kind of be like, hey, let's go outside and dribble the basketball or whatever. Like I would go outside and play with my friends, but my mom was more on like books. So like when I was young, I used to read a whole lot, like, you know, and, you know, play in the house or whatever like that. But I would go outside and stuff, but I didn't really have anybody, you know, how most people, their fathers are, and even though it is some moms now that are put their kids in sport, but my mom wasn't one of
dad
those.
be the one that after the game be like, come out, we doing 5.
Yeah.
Bro, I saw a dude throwing the football to his son, and every time his son caught it, the dad be like, yeah, boy had to be 6.
Yeah, because
my dad ain't never do that, so yeah, I can't get jiggy with that. I mean, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'm just different
saying,
experiences though.
No, that's what happens normally.
What I'm
though.
saying is like if you probably just naturally went outside and played sports with you had brothers, right?
I just played with my friends.
You played with your friends and were brothers and stuff. I didn't, like my friends, we would occasionally like play sports or whatever like that, but it wasn't a focus of mine.
Yeah, sometimes dads, we get this, it's just like drill sergeant things. Like to Ian's point, yeah, you might play with your friends, but your dad will be the one like, because I didn't grow up with my dad fully all the time. My brother did. You can tell the difference when we play basketball. My brother, like my dad and my brother outside all night. Hit the ball, shoot. Hit the ball, shoot.
And like I said, not even like I said, is because you can learn to play with other friends, but it just it wasn't a focus. It wasn't a focus of mine. Like I had I was more into like science and stuff like that, and animals and stuff. That was my like main focus. But not to say like that there aren't, because there are people who are just more naturally, but it just wasn't something that I naturally like did. But I probably would have wanted to play sports a little bit when I was younger, just to do it.
You love sports.
Yeah, I do. Like I love basketball, but I got into that like on my own or whatever. You know, just, you know, from having because I was always around like older people. So I would see them playing and I couldn't really play and stuff like them. So I would always like, you know, I was more like into the stats and things such as that nature, because to be honest, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, my dream job, I probably would have loved to be like a sportscaster. Like, I think that would be real fun or whatever. So
coming soon, Words with KB Sportscast.
Nah, he want to do a sports. He want to do a sports show. So
basic sports. I can talk sports all day. You know,
you do have some interesting opinions.
Can we do call-ins on that? Just let me. You, and my brother should do that.
Yeah,
and Henry.
Yeah, no, but to me, what I say that all to say, like because even I've had that conversation, you know, with my significant other, how, you know, how Trey, he still needs to have that interaction with his father, positive or negative, because you need to be around them, like to see how they,
even or negative.
You need to see.
Yeah, because how do you deal? Like, do you think it's easier?
That negative, bro.
I mean,
I'd rather have not there than negative, bro.
See, sometimes and I know what Ian mean. Sometimes that negative, it's kind of like how I used to come to Atlanta for the summers, right? Mm-hmm. And mind you, when I'm at home in Charleston growing up, church boy, right? All we do, go to church, come to Atlanta, freaknik, ass. Just, I mean,
and make the connection.
Like, the connection is, even though you might be in a negative environment, it shapes you as a child, because you get a little seasoning with the recipe. You
I don't know if that's the right seasoning.
I think it always is. I think all your experiences shape you, because because 9 times out of 10 you might be in a negative environment, but your dad, like my dad, wasn't negative. It was just we grew up in College Park.
He said negative.
That's what it means.
Person. He ain't saying environment. He's saying they need to be. He's saying that it's more important for you to be around your father. Yes, it may be negative or positive, but it's important that you be around your father. Like, is that right?
Yeah. I feel like once you get a certain, now you shouldn't be like what you were saying with the little boy. Like,
he don't need to be around that nigga.
Yeah, he don't need to be around that nigga.
I'm talking about when you get a certain age, like, you need to see how that person is, because
what you mean?
A lot to me.
So what I'm saying, explain the age thing.
Because just like kind of how you saw like in Boys in the Hood, how when he got like, because when the young boy, when he's becoming a man, if there's not a positive man in the household, he needs to be around one.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you said negative or positive. That's guys around a negative influence. I don't think he need to be around no negative influence anyway, because that's who he's gonna be.
He doesn't need to per se like be raised by him, but when I say be around, he should see it.
He should know that his dad exists and stuff, but he probably shouldn't be around him.
He needs to be able to be with him, to be like, this is what I don't want to be. Because best believe, because some of that stuff is hereditary. Some stuff you'll be like, why do I act like this, or why do I do this? And that might have been something that your whether it's like commitment issues and relationships on why you don't trust people a certain way. Your father may have did the same things you do and had those same experiences, and he'll be able to tell you, hey son, when I was that age, like I had to deal with that too, or that was something I battled with. Because your mom can only shape you so much, and if you don't have that positive role model in your life, and then you're gonna have challenges and stuff, because a lot of this stuff is hereditary.
So like, you're saying stuff that you naturally I just want to be clear. So you saying that you should know who your father is for when you're an adult, but if they're children, they shouldn't be, because they can't really. They can't really dissect. It depends. All the things a bad father does.
I know he ain't getting that. He mean like because you got to compare and contrast. Like in his situation,
yeah, that's what
if his stepson goes and say he does see a negative situation, one thing automatically his stepson would say, it ain't like this back home.
Yeah, that's true. But in his situation, he got good and then negative over here.
What I'm saying is not, and now everything is not like with Keith, with your situation, he probably just doesn't need to be in that home at all. Yeah. But I'm talking about like, it may be some things that your father does that,
like he might drink a lot on the low, like drink. Like it might be beer. Like you might go to his house and won't be no beers in the refrigerator. You go to his dad's house, like how it was for me. My mom, no beers, no wine. Go to my dad's house, 12-pack in the refrigerator. That means that's a little different.
Or even just, I wouldn't even say like anything like detrimental to your health or anything like that. Just maybe just how they act. Like if you're like me, just I guess I can use this as an example. Me and Trey are like very different. We're both, fun and chilling, but he's a lot more touched with his feelings than me. And I wasn't raised like that. I'm not like that at all. But I think his father may be. His father may, have that same type of interactions or dealt with that same type of thing, or maybe have that same kind of, like Trey is like, even though I never really played, like I ran track and stuff, but I was always very competitive. Even if I wasn't the best athlete, I always hated to lose. Like, and I'm just naturally just competitive with everything that I do. I like to win. Like Trey's more like laid back, chill, like, and he's more athletic, quote unquote, naturally than me. Like he can come out and play baseball, football, basketball, doesn't really try real like chill. Like, and I don't really understand it, because I'll be like, you need to do this. And his mom is the same way. She's very competitive. Yeah. So we don't really know like why he's like that. But his dad is probably real chill like that. And from when I've talked with him, and he's real chill. Like whatever the situation, he's just like chill and laid back. And so I say that to say that him being around his pops will make him see like there's nothing wrong with that he's like that. And he needs to be able to see like, oh, that's why I'm like, wait, even though you got two parents in your household, they're like really like pushing you like, hey, this is what you need to do. But that's not your natural personality. Okay. And he needs to be able to see where that comes from and see that, because a lot of times people will try to separate that whole side of the family. Like even if the daddy is raggedy per se, they'll be like, well, you don't need to be around that side of the family. Like you could be cutting yourself on a whole. That's your roots. That's where you came from.
You have to know your roots.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I just don't think children, they don't have the intelligence yet to do that. They don't have the intelligence to say, oh, I get this part from my daddy. Like, I don't think children have that.
Some children have a little bit more discernment than you believe.
I don't know. I never had those thoughts until my late 20s, where I was like, oh, I get this from my dad. Like,
by the time they hit 8 or 9, these kids start having their own emotions and personalities.
They do have their own, but I don't think they can discern like, oh, this attributes about myself, because that takes a lot of internal. You have to look at yourself internally and say, okay, I get this attribute from my father.
But when you say it though, like, 'cause it happened with my kids a lot. Their moms would say it, right? And then,
you get that from your daddy.
They'll say like with the math, right? They'll say to my son, "Oh, you get that from your dad." So then when me and my son are doing math problems with each other, and then it works easy, he's like, "Yeah, Dad, because mom told me you." Yeah, and he sees it, and he's like, "Oh, I get it from you."
You don't have nothing to compare it to. That's just, such a big thing of like when you'll go through stuff. You don't have any, like, children, the way their minds think is like they're really big on like seeing things and like comparing it, like they're very like straightforward thinkers. So they're like, okay, this is why I'm doing that. And they may not be able to process like, oh, but they'll be able to see somebody doing something similar to them and be like, oh, okay, that's okay. That's normal for me to think that way or for me to do that.
Okay.
So and it don't feel weird about it. My daughter, she's in tune with her emotions. She writes poetry, and she's like, it kind of weirded her out a little bit. And then her mom's like, well, your dad does that. And then she saw what I was doing, and she's like, oh, okay. And
there it is.
Now she's comfortable.
Yeah, and I really don't like to speak on kids because I don't know. I don't have kids, so I'm like,
not yet.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So now we want to, because on our last fatherhood episode, we talked we really focused on the dynamics we had with our fathers most of the time. So on this episode, I want to go externally and get some different experience from different fathers, different experience from some women about their fathers and talk about that. So let's do a call in. So this is Jamar Hudson from the Fatherhood podcast. So I reached out to him a couple of weeks ago. I like something on his page, and if I like something on somebody's page, I usually just give him a call. So
where is he? What's that? The Dunbar Center? I think that's where they.
I'm not sure, but we about to give him a call right now. Let's see if he picks up. Let's see here.
Either that or the Black Man Lab. One of those two.
It might be. No.
Jamar speaking.
Jamar, this is KB, man, with the Words with KB podcast. How you doing?
What's going on, my man? How's everything?
Hey, man, we good over here rocking, man. Can you hear us fine?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, man.
Okay, cool, man. We got the whole cast up here, man. We got C Knowledge and my man Basic Logic.
What's going on?
We were covering some, we covered 2 questions so far on this episode, right?
Okay.
It was what does fatherhood look like to you in 2019? And then I wanted to talk about when did you actually become a father? So I want to pose these questions to you. I want you to talk about fatherhood and what it means to you, and I want you to talk about your podcast, the Fatherhood podcast, and I want you to kind of tell us what inspired you to do the Fatherhood podcast too, and introduce yourself to the people, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me on. I'll start with your last question first. My son was born November of 2018, and I was just throughout the process of my wife's pregnancy, I was just trying to figure out a way, like, how can I? This is our first son, so how can I really, express how I feel, like, in a public space? I thought about, doing a blog. Thought about getting into like photography, going and like researching cameras and stuff like that. And just taking a whole bunch of pictures of him. And then the idea of a podcast came to be, man. I always wanted to do one, but didn't really want to do like the typical something that everybody else does.
Right.
So when I just, found out I was going to become a dad, I was like, okay, let me just use this opportunity to launch something that I could really talk about, something that was personal to me, and I could really express how I felt about it and kind of grow in the podcast world as I grew as a father. So that's kind of how the Fatherhood podcast came to be, man. I started in November of last year and have been going ever since, man. Take a little break for the summer, but been going pretty strong and consistent since November of last year.
Right. So and you have the Fatherhood podcast. So Father's Day should be pretty big for you, right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's my first one. It's kind of weird, man, because I don't really know, how to feel. You know what I'm saying? It's still the whole being a dad thing, being a father thing is still surreal to me. Like,
what's surreal about it? I mean, you a new father on here that we have. So currently on the podcast we have a stepfather, and then C Knowledge has 2 children of his own. I'm just a godfather, so I'm just throwing that in there so I can feel like I belong. But it is what it is. So like, what makes you feel that way? That kind of surreal, and it's just the fact of having a kid, like having this new human you're responsible for.
Yeah, man. I mean, you said it, man. Just having someone that you're responsible for, man. Someone that came from your body, your blood. You hear people say all the time, "My flesh, my blood," but that is a real thing, man.
Right.
Every once in a while, even at 7 months old now, I'll just kind of randomly look at him and like, wow, we really got a son. We really got someone that he is 100% dependent on you for everything. You're responsible for his life, and that changes, man. Especially when you're first one, your lifestyle changes. It's a complete 180, man. You're used to, whether you're married or whether you're just, with your significant other, you have to alter your life to fit this new person in it. You can't just, it ain't no part-time thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's 100%. You got to be all in on it. And, every once in a while, I just kind of, because I'm 36, about to be 37. So for 30, all of my adult life, it's just been me. And then when I got married, and now I have this person I have to be responsible for. And that's the feeling, man, that it takes some time to get used to, even 7-8 months in the game now, it's still something that every once in a while, that's what I mean when I say it's surreal. It's like, wow, I'm responsible for this person.
Right. Now, how long were you married before you had a kid?
2 years, man. My wife and I got married in September of 2016.
Okay.
And we had Emory in November of 2018. So we spent the first 2 years just kind of, enjoying marriage, doing a little bit of traveling, just still trying to enjoy, life before kids. And then, we found out, we were pregnant in the spring of last year. So last year around this time was, we were going through the pregnancy. So he came in November.
Okay. Now, how's the relationship with your father? Do you feel like that relationship has a lot of impact on you being a father right now, or how does that go?
I mean, no doubt. I mean, my dad was in my life. He grew up in a 2-parent household. I will say that there are some things now that I'm a dad, I understand a little bit better of what some of the things he was trying to do as I was growing up. Because a lot of times, when you're young, you go through that rebellious stage, and then when you get on your own, you try to, figure out the world for yourself. And then when you become a dad, you tend to kind of look back and see some of the things that, he was trying to, prepare me for and instill in my life so I could be, a good dad, a good friend, a good husband, or whatever. Also, I will say there are some things that, now that I'm a dad, I know there are some things that were done in my household I don't necessarily want to do as a dad. And that's another thing you come to realize when you become a father. Some of the things that maybe your parents did, you may not want to implement in your life as a dad. And there are other things that you want to continue the tradition, so to speak. Right. But yeah, I mean, he definitely, was definitely a good role model for me as a father, and definitely, had a huge impact on how I want to, continue now that I have a son of my own.
Right. Man. Okay. Well, that was dope, man. I want you to plug your podcast one time, man. We got a lot of call-ins to get into today, man. Cause we want to get all these different, experiences people have with their fathers, and you're a new father too, man. So that's really good to hear, like the excitement that you have in being a father, man. And do you think like the age has something to do with like how you view, like if that would have happened 10 years ago, would you be the same way?
You know what, man? It's funny you asked me. I was actually having this conversation yesterday. I could not see myself 10, 15 years ago with a child. Because I know a lot of people, I grew up with, went to high school with, who had kids, right out of high school, right out of college in their early 20s. And just looking back, I could not imagine myself at 36, 37 having a teenager right now. Wasn't prepared. Not saying that you can't do it, because obviously people do it and are successful. But for me, knowing where I was at 22, 23, I just could not picture that part, of my life going that way. So I think for me personally, it worked out that, it had it quote unquote later on in life in my mid 30s. That I was a little bit more established, a little bit more prepared mentally,
right,
and emotionally to kind of take on that responsibility.
Okay. Okay, cool, man. Go ahead and pub that podcast one more time, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. I'm host of the Fatherhood podcast. You can find me on all streaming platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. Hit me up on my Instagram at the Fatherhood Podcast, and on my personal pages at Jamar Hudson. And I appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Get out there, podcast, man. I'll see what you got coming out for Father's Day, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Later.
Cool, man. The Fatherhood Podcast, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in, subscribe to that, man. If y'all like it, subscribe, leave them a review, all that, man. So we got some more call-ins. We want to call Nidra. Y'all remember Nidra?
Yes.
You remember Nidra?
Yeah.
Why you made that face? Do you know what I'm talking about though? Yeah, she be on social media. She be on social media going ham. So let's call Nidra. Okay, we're recording you. So
hello,
Nidra, what's good?
What's good? What's good?
How you doing?
Doing good. Just out riding around. You know how it is.
Yeah, you are on Words with KB podcast, man, and we have Ian Basic Logic on here, and we got C Knowledge.
What's up, guys?
What? Y'all gonna say something?
Europe.
Ian, you want to?
I said Europe. What's
that mean? That's your beginning statement right now.
Oh, what up, Nidra?
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
So, the purpose of needs I put a post online about your experience with fathers, and you had some pretty aggressive statements. And,
yeah.
Can you tell the people what you said about fathers and fatherhood?
All right. Well, I'm gonna start off like this. Like for me, fatherhood. My image of fatherhood was tainted at a young age because my dad was never around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whatnot. My dad was alive, but he was just out and about living his life.
Right.
So from an early age, I have always been like, your fatherhood. Either they gonna be there or they not.
Okay. So it was an on and off thing. It was just you either good or bad, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, he wasn't there. He didn't handle his responsibilities, but later on in life, he was like, your mom allowed me to do me, she took care of you and, she just allowed me to do me. Okay. So from him saying that to me, I was like, wow, bro, that's how you feel?
And that's a conversation you had as an adult with your father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's the same relationship I had even to the day he died. Like, F you, bro. Because you lived your life, right? All right, cool.
Okay.
So yeah, like even when he died, like I wasn't even there because I was like, shit, I'm out here living my life now, bro.
Right. Because y'all didn't have that. Y'all didn't build a positive relationship, so you didn't have any positive feelings going towards him. Okay.
Nah, because it was just tainted after feeling that he wasn't there. Like he just wasn't there.
Okay.
And I told him I was like, as a parent, you'll get out of your kid what you put into your kids. Nothing from nothing equals nothing. Okay,
so it's you look at like an investment, right? You invest in them. I think Mr. Keith, C Knowledge was saying some stuff like that. You got to invest in your kids to get something back out of it.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel.
Okay, so you had a question, Basic?
Yeah. What's up, Nidra? It's Basic.
What's good?
No, so I had a similar experience with my father, how he wasn't really in my life as a child either, and I think my first conversation I can remember having with him is right before I graduated from school, from college, from Fort Valley. Me talking to him, it was like an awkward conversation because it's probably one that we probably should have had a long time ago. But so it was kind of like we had the conversation like kind of like kids. We was like, yeah, I'm trying to get out there, and I'm just like, bro, like, what you talking about? I'm grown.
He sound like So you saying he was talking to you like you was a kid?
Yeah, like it's like, come on, bro. Like it's 2010 or whatever it was the time is. Like if you're trying to get a hold of somebody, you can. But he said a similar thing where he was like that. He was glad that I had the mom I had because she was able to step in and take care of me. Now the thing I would say is, and I still to this day don't really have a relationship with him. I had more of a relationship with his brother, who is now, kind of passed away. But with him, I still don't really have a relationship. But the thing with me is that, you know, we love our moms, but I also think our moms are to blame for that, because I feel like a lot of times and moms do that now, they let dads off the hook, you know, where
most definitely.
Yeah, well, they know that they're not involved, and, you know, whether they have them on child support, whatever it is, that's all they kind of, if they do that, that's all they kind of really ask for them, and then they kind of just let them be free.
So you saying they don't put no pressure on them?
They don't put no pressure on to make them step up. Like, nah, this your kid too. Like, whereas like, and we have to start holding fathers accountable, you know, on making sure that, you know, if they not trying to be, you know, like, now if it's a situation where it's unhealthy, or, you know, where they're doing something like that, but if you just don't want to be involved, like, and we're going to allow you not to be involved, like, nah, you still need to, this ain't no babysitting thing. You finna have to take your kid to, and I don't just want a check from you every month. You need to spend some quality time. And like, and I do put that out there to the moms out there. Like, don't let your personal feelings, just because the man may not want to be with you, don't let him separate himself and not be in the kid's life at all. And whether he's paying the child support or not, he still needs to be able to see his son, see his daughter. Like, they still need to have that relationship. So.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
That's a great point. So how
you say that, I'm gonna touch on that. Like, with my son's dad, I've always wanted him to be there. You know, I actually have the door open, but it's his personal choice to not be involved. You get what I'm saying? We've done child support court and all that stuff, but personally, he just don't want to be there. And with a parent, you can't force them to be there. You get what I'm saying? If you try to force them, it's going to become a detrimental situation to your child. Like, say, since he said he don't want to be there, like, I could just, you know, on the weekend, like, I want to see the weekend go to drop my son outside his parents' house. It's going to become a detrimental situation because he don't want him. You feel me? Then it might be a situation where he killed my kid because he don't want him. You get what I'm saying? So you can only hold them accountable as far as financially. You get what I'm saying? You can't, even when you take them to court, you can't force them to have visitation or anything if they say they don't want visitation.
Right.
So, you know, you can hold them accountable for what you can hold them accountable for, but what I had to learn was you just can't force them to be in a picture.
Right. And that's probably that's probably what people's first response is. You did this, you helped make this kid, so you gonna help take care of it. But a lot of niggas don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying forcing, I'm just saying, like, make sure the door is still always open.
No, we saying, but most of the time, most women's first response is to, you know, go in there forceful. Like, hey, what you doing? Why you not taking care? Why you not doing this? So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point to make. Do you think? So how does that affect your kid today? You think, like, or how do you think? Do you see it affecting them at all, or no?
No, because see, my son, he's in a loving environment where he's loved by everybody. He has my family that's there, and the situation was, if the other party was in the picture, I feel like it would, like, his life wouldn't be as positive as it is right now. On my side, it would be nothing but positivity, but on that side, it would be negativity. So as long as he got me and my side and everything is positive, he's living a life, you know, he's instilling his food and everything, that's all I care about. Like, you don't want a toxic parent just pouring toxic into your child. No matter what, you know, mom or father.
Right.
And so, would I like them to have a relationship? Of course. You know, that's what everybody wants.
Right.
But sometimes you have to realize that it's just not going to go that way, and it's better off that your child isn't in that predicament.
Right. But you're saying that the door will be open as long as they're not, like, pouring toxic stuff into your kid.
I mean, yeah, the door will always be open.
Okay. That's good, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have to assess the situation and see what's best for the child, you know, especially at least until they get of age where they can make a choice. Because what I always tell moms, especially when you have a son, like, you can't be surprised if, you know, I know a lot of times, you know, moms are very close to their sons, and I think vice versa. But if your son comes of age and he's like, hey, I want to go stay with my dad, you have to, hopefully, as time has passed, like, you guys are able to have that relationship where I feel like they would need to go with their dad. Like even with me,
I throw a whole fit.
I know you would. So it's just like, but you have to, I mean, you start off with baby steps, not, you don't want to, always go back to that because that's what I grew up off of movies like that. But like Boys in the Hood, you don't want to have it where it's like, all right, it's like, you're just going to go stay with him,
right.
for your whole life or whatever. But it's like baby steps, maybe, they come down and you have like supervised visits to make sure everything's cool. And hopefully by that time, you and whoever your baby's father or baby mother is, you guys have matured enough to have a grown up and mature conversation where you could be like, hey, we can have these visitations here, make sure everything's cool. You maybe have went over and seen their house to make sure it's a safe environment for your child to be in. Slowly maybe start taking them on the weekends, and in the summer he can be up there and make sure it's cool because he does, like, that is still part of him. That's, it takes
right.
It takes half of him to, make the child as well. So they still need to be able to have that relationship because he needs to know himself because it's only so much you can teach him, as a mother.
Right.
He needs to learn that from a man, whether it's his father or another male figure in the household. So.
Okay. Nidra, thank you for calling. Anything you want to shout out or any statements you want to make before you jump off?
I just want to shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I always enjoy our back and forth online. So I'm
most definitely.
Oh yeah, but all right. You enjoy the rest of your day, ma'am.
All right, you too, guys.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
Ooh, I didn't expect her to be so. She sounded really responsible with that. From Facebook, she sounded a little crazy.
No, that was, I mean.
She had a very good, I like what she said.
I hate when niggas on goddamn.
Nigga been quiet. Nigga ain't said shit. Now
Ain't
I
shit
ain't
to
when
say.
niggas on.
Ain't shit to say really because, it's always one side. It's three sides
All right.
to every story.
No, but definitely,
Okay.
I think it was good there because a lot of times, especially with social media, things can definitely get construed.
Yeah.
'Cause I still didn't hear her
Yeah,
state her full statement on what she said about fathers. Like,
What you mean?
like the original question you had asked her because they went to a different place with it.
Well, I think she answered it. She,
I just want to know, like, my questions be, and I ain't asked it because I know she won't tell you, but women also have to give the nature of the relationship.
Why you didn't ask that?
Nah, because that's a personal thing.
Oh, okay.
That's a
okay.
personal.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't even know y'all. I mean, we all went to Fort Valley.
No, not personal. I'm talking about when you ask any woman a question like that.
Ask
That's
them
personal.
the questions. Fuck it.
Nah,
Tell me the question. I ask them.
Nah,
I mean, that's what we wanted.
for every woman out there. Like every time women talk about the other side and how the daddy don't do this, right? Also, women have to keep it real with themselves and give the true nature of the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Involved.
Like how we all involved because I've been through that myself. Went through some back and forth, but then I had to finally say, okay, hey, on the table, I'm gonna tell you what it was,
okay,
and what it is.
Okay,
that's true.
So that plays a part into it because I've seen people go through that.
So
like,
we need to hold everybody accountable in this thing, man. I think there's a lot of accountability. We just,
but see, that's the thing.
I don't know if it's
I don't know if it's an accountability thing because I know women and men are different, and what I've come to realize is that all these talks we've been having with all these women and all these podcasts we've been doing and all these interactions, at the end of the day, only thing women want is to be paid the same amount as a man for the job that they do the same.
Equality.
Outside, no. Income equality. Outside of that, they don't want any other equality. They don't want any other equality.
They want the stuff that is favorable.
They don't want any other equality. Everything else is still the traditional way.
Well, I think this is the first step, though. I think it's the first step that us now men coming in and we're saying
but I'm saying
there are these gaps in the relationships. There's gaps in a lot of life that we want to get.
But it ain't no gaps.
To.
It ain't no gaps.
There are gaps.
It's not no gaps. It's just a siren alarm to let men know. Keep being men.
No, we gotta switch this shit.
No. I'm not talking the negative shit. Yes, the misogyny, pay women what they owed. Yes, check. But the other part of the shit, like how men are supposed to be men and lead and protect, do what they need to do to take care of shit. We still got to do that because
everybody got to do
because
that.
it's hard to hold women accountable because women are emotional creatures, right? And I don't hold women to fault for laying down with a guy that they think will be there, that they think will be this type of dude, that type of dude. Like at the end of the day, there are facts. There are facts. And we talked about this before. How men are just a little bit more logical than women. And then if you ever talk to one of your homegirls, matter of fact, you got homegirls, and you talk to them, and they've listed shit about a dude. At the end of it, you kind of be like,
why did you have a baby with him?
And I tell them that I don't hold no punch with my homegirl. They gonna get whatever, man. But we gonna call in Francis. Great points, man. Feel like it's another conversation we need to go deeper.
That's a different conversation.
Because I want to keep this about the fathers. Yeah. What fatherhood means to you. So I got Francis on call in. He from Fort Valley. Y'all know Francis? I'm about to show you.
What was his name in Fort Valley? Because I'm sure it wasn't Francis.
Pompey?
Let me show you his Facebook right here. Francis. Yeah, Pompey. Did they not call him Francis at Fort Valley? I didn't know him personally like that. No. Pompey.
Yeah, no, Pompey.
So they call him Pompey?
Yeah, they didn't call him Francis. His name was probably like Frankie B.
Bro, let me call him first. I think this is his number right here.
Hello?
Pompey, what's up, man?
What's up, Kelvin?
I'm good, man. You are here with you are live on the Words of KB podcast, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. So we just got off the phone with, I think you the third or fourth call we had today. Third call we had today, man, covering all things around fathers. And I made a post the other day on Facebook. Asking that, would anyone like to share their experiences with their fathers or any kind of experience with fathers. And you made a interesting post on there. And let me read what your post was. I want you to kind of go into it a little more if you don't mind. So
okay.
The post was, my dad was the greatest example of a man, but also the greatest example of a man that lost his purpose. Right? I want to know, what do you mean by that statement?
Well, for me, my dad was there for me from day one. He was married to my mom for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And, and he was with her for 4 years before that. So, in total, they were together for 34 years.
That's crazy.
He eventually died in 2016, September 3rd.
Okay.
And my dad, in my hometown, me and my family were kind of like the Cosbys.
Okay.
We were the perfect black family. My brother just graduated from med school. I had my degree. My youngest brother has his degree.
Okay.
My mom was a local politician, and my dad worked for Delta. He was an aeronautics mechanic.
Okay.
If you flew a plane between 94 and 2016, you probably flew on the plane that he worked on.
Okay, yeah, sounds Cosby-like.
Yeah, so, you have all these accolades and the way people view you. And, my dad was a quiet man, but, he always did what he needed to do for his family,
Right, he was responsible.
Regardless of if him and my mom had a fight, every day he came home and gave her a kiss. I'm talking about every single day. And I think most mornings he got up about 3:30 every morning to go to work, 14-hour days for most of his years. And, when I started playing rec football, he was working night shift and he was still, find time to take us to football practice, even though he had to go work a 12-hour shift later on that night. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot of things that I could talk about my dad, and, barely missed any of my football games, always took care of the family.
Yeah.
But where he started to lose his way was my dad was always a drinker. He was a drinker from as far as I can remember.
Okay.
And he was a drinker. It never really got out of hand, and when most people hear me say that, they think that, he was abusive. My dad was never an abusive drinker, but he was self-destructive.
So,
and more so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go into how was he self-destructive?
Like, it would be like he would come home and rather than get up and do something else, and I can't really explain why. Maybe he was tired, maybe he was stressed out.
Yeah.
But the first thing he would do is get him something to drink. Right. And my dad didn't drink like beers or nothing. At one point, and this was like for the last 5 years of his life, he drank a pint of Seagram's gin a day.
Wow. Wow. I like gin, but not that much gin.
Yeah, he drank a pint, and on weekends, on his days off, it was a fifth.
Wow.
And y'all seen me, and my dad was no bigger than me. I'm 5'8", 160 pounds. My dad was 5'8", about 130, 140.
Wow, man. So what? So did his abusive self-abusive actions affect you anyway growing up? Like, did that rub off on you, or did that like turn you away from doing that type of behavior?
It didn't rub off on me really until I was in my 20s. It, like, when I say he had it under control, while me and my brothers were in the house, there were signs, because I could think of 5 times in my entire childhood where we had a bad incident, and every single one of them had to do with either him or my mom, because my mom was also a heavy drinker too.
Okay.
Either one or both of them being drunk. 5 times. Yeah. 5 bad incidents in my whole entire childhood.
Yeah, that's not too many. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad because they had it under control. But I mean, when you think about it, it's easier to control your drinking when you're 20-something or 30-something, and life ain't kicked you in the teeth yet. But then you look up, you're 48, you hate your job, people getting on your nerves.
Your kids might be gone now, so yeah.
Yeah, and really that would seem like the turning point when my youngest brother graduated from high school in 2010. It didn't really kick in right then, but like when I moved back home in 2013, I saw the destruction. Like he was drunk so much to the point where he at least fell in the house once a day, knocking stuff over. And it's, I can't explain it. I don't know if it was simply just stress, maybe because alcoholism runs in my family. Like his dad died at 56. My dad was 52. His dad died at 56. He was an alcoholic. My mom's dad died at 56. He was an alcoholic. My mom's mom was alcoholic.
Man.
I counted all my aunts and aunties on my mom's side, including my mom and dad. Out of the 10 siblings and their spouses, 8 out of the 10 were alcoholics.
Man. Yeah, that's deep in y'all genetics then, man. Some you better watch out for yourself.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I don't drink like that. I can probably name maybe 3 times where I've been drunk.
Right.
And it's, I sit back and look at a lot of, black men that feel like they have to have a drink right after work or something like that. And it's easy to do it when you're 33, when your kids are young, when you're young, you got the energy to handle it, go out and have a drink. But it's just, it's hard enough when white folks is out here trying to get us and you're helping them tie the noose.
Yeah, killing yourself. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not against drinking. I'm not against smoking, but it's like you got to understand the rabbit hole you may put yourself into 10, 15 years from now.
Right. Moderation is the word, I think. So, okay.
Yeah.
So you got any, let's wrap this call. You got any other messages you would give to fathers out there or based off of, how your childhood was or however you are? Yeah, are you a father yourself?
No, I don't have any kids yet.
Okay. So any message to potential fathers out there just based off of your experience with fathers?
Don't be ashamed to be the type of father that you want to be. Don't let people tell you that you have to be this type of dad. Like you can't, like the whole hyper toxic masculinity. If being stern is what you do as a father, be that. Just as long as it's not abusive, just as long as you have guidelines of how you do it, but don't let other people tell you how to be a father, especially considering that black masculinity oftentimes is misinterpreted, and the second that you feel like you have to stand up for yourself, they're saying that you're being too misogynistic or whatever it may be.
Yeah, aggressive.
Yeah, you're being too aggressive. So if being a stern father is your path to raising your children the right way, do that.
I like that message, man. I like that message, man. But hey, man, thanks for calling in, man. We got to take one or two more calls today, man. We got to wrap this episode up. Hey, man, but thanks, man. You got anything you want to shout out before you get off the call?
No, man, that's it. Y'all boys just keep doing what y'all doing.
Hey, we out here, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for the support, bro.
You're welcome.
All right, bro.
Bye.
All right.
That was a good call. That was a perfect example of what I was talking about. Why you need to be around your parents is because imagine if he wasn't around his parents and he didn't know the struggles that his family has.
You saying getting positive from that negative.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things that, because you could see it didn't sound like they had a very abusive childhood.
No, it wasn't at all.
A couple incidents, but he knows that, something that you may not think of, having a little drink or two right there. Some people you can understand when you hear people say, oh yeah, I can't really drink, or I don't really smoke like that, because people have seen where stuff like that, where it can lead to be a negative. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. So it's definitely something that you need to know if your family is dealing with that. Same thing with even now with being healthy. Like hypertension runs in my family. And I was very big on eating chips, and I haven't.
Now you don't really eat chips.
Well, in January I told myself I wasn't gonna eat any chips.
Yeah, I haven't seen
chips, boy. Good.
So I haven't had any chips in a couple months.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, now I'll be eating them little kale chip things. They're pretty good.
That's it's really important to find alternatives. He's having a drink every day. It's probably he's coping with something with the drinks, and he probably could cope in a different way. Maybe one day a week have your drink, but then cope with it in different ways. But that's why that's why I said before, I think it's good that we're getting in a good space where we're finding different ways to express ourselves and deal with different things. But now the women are gonna have to start accepting the ways that we do it, and they're gonna go through a period where I don't know how to handle this. You know what I'm saying? Because black men ain't been expressing themselves; they just been holding it in, and I gotta be tough and all this stuff. And now they gotta they've been drinking, smoking, doing all these external things, and now us as a couple, we just gonna have to deal with it. So we got one more call today. Cassandra Daniels. Y'all know Cassandra Daniels?
That name sounds very familiar. She went to school with us?
I'm not sure. I thought she was with, what you call it?
She's in the Facebook
Josie
group. Josie Hall?
Yeah, what you Davidson?
This nigga name not dog. So we gonna call Cassandra. Cause I wanted to get one more female's perspective before we wrapped up.
Hello.
Cassandra, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. You are on with the Words with KB podcast with Basic Logic and C Knowledge.
All right, now I'm famous.
We're glad to have you on.
Thank you.
And
glad to be on.
Right, and you agreed to share your experience with fathers and fatherhood. And and we want to hear it, especially coming from a female's perspective, because we talked to a lot of guys today, and we're 3 guys ourselves, so we shared our story, but we want to hear it from your side, and I want you to tell your story.
Okay, well, my late husband, he passed in 2014. Okay. When we met, first and foremost, I was working at IBM. Third shift, nothing to do at times because I was taking calls over call center thing. We met on College Club. I don't know if y'all remember College Club.
College Club? Is that like a Black Planet or something?
Is that like Crunk Friends?
It was before Black Planet. It was before
Black. I didn't even know there was a before Black Planet. Wow.
Before MySpace.
This was in the 40s?
So, you know, you ain't got to do me like that. See how you do?
They was writing them pen pals.
It was right before, like, I was at IBM when we had the whole Y2K, oh my God, the world's going to end. So it was around that time.
Y2K was some bullshit.
So this is like
Listen,
AOL
like I had to work
Messenger.
overtime.
This is like
so, yeah,
IM Messenger. Yeah.
Dial-up, yeah. Back when the internet was dial-up, I was on College Club. That's how I met. We started dating. I met my husband. He was in the military at the time, and when he came to Atlanta on like a leave or something he had, that was the first time that him and I met, but he also met my daughter who was 2.
Okay.
And my 2-year-old, she's sometimey at times. She doesn't just roll up to just anybody. And the messed up part was when I would be out in public with her, she might walk up to somebody that was white, but not people that were black. And I was like, you can't do our people like this.
Hold on, wait. What?
So,
explain that. What?
Exactly.
I'm confused.
I don't know. She's light skinned, so I think that maybe she thought she looked more like them. But
is she like half white or something?
No.
She would just walk up to white people. She felt comfortable, maybe from TV or something.
I don't know. Open arms and everything.
Oh wow.
Did she walk up to ashy black people too?
I had a white Jesus.
You know what? Light skinned black people.
But not ashy.
She's
black
better
people.
now.
They probably did have a white. Y'all had a white Jesus in the house, didn't you?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I just always said that she was sent here to embarrass me in public because we had time, her and I. But she took to him. Like today, we went out to eat when he came and he stayed for a few weeks with us. And my daughter actually was out of town. She was with my grandmother, and I brought her back. When I tell you, this girl took like a piece of chicken she was eating, gave it to him, like they were sharing a piece of chicken. I was like, I've never seen her just take to anybody like this. And because I had really strong feelings for him, I really wanted her to like him. I really wanted her to be able to get along with him. So they took to each other well. I mean, we ended up getting married within that year.
Oh, wow.
And he was who she knew as her dad. She used to call him Daddy Trey, and then she just started calling him Daddy, like she chased him around the house. And I mean, they just were like the best of friends.
Wow.
And he never, ever, ever treated her like she was not his child. And we actually had issues with his family because the family just knew she was his child. And I was like, really? She's not. Yeah. I guarantee you she's not. But because they were so close and they felt like she looked like him,
wow,
they were convinced. To this day, they're still convinced that she's his biological child and that I'm just a liar. Wow. All right, cool, whatever.
But, wow, that type of energy for real?
What about her real dad? Did he have a problem with that?
He didn't really participate.
Okay, so he wasn't involved at all in the raising of that child.
He started out, but because he couldn't have me, he didn't want any of it. And that's just the way that the situation went. When we weren't going to be one happy family, and I was like, you can have this relationship, it's fine. He didn't want that relationship with just her. He wanted it to be all of us. And that wasn't what I was looking for. Him and I were not, we shouldn't have been together.
Yeah, I think that's a sentiment that we're all familiar with, I see it more so on the female side when they want the whole family to be together when maybe they're not a good fit, but they just want to keep the family together just because, society says you should when you probably shouldn't, right?
I agree. And I have to be honest, initially that's where I was because my goal was not to have a child and not be married or to have a child and not be in a relationship.
Right.
And I went so far, my pregnancy was ridiculous when it came to mood swings. I'm already a Gemini, so when I had another baby in me and it was a girl, I was all over the place.
Okay.
So I don't think I talked to him at all during my entire pregnancy. But after I had her, yeah, we went to some class together.
What's the birthday for Geminis?
Now
I'm
May 21st.
Were y'all married
June
or
21st.
y'all dated?
No, we dated back in high school, and then I actually went out of state. I moved out of state, and we dated over the phone and everything, and kept in touch. And I would come back and visit. So when I came back to go to school, we kind of got back together.
Right.
I came back home for this one freak meet and got pregnant.
Freak meet. We was talking about freak meet earlier, but
that's what it went down in freak meet. I tell you that.
But, real.
Yes, like so I did want for my daughter to have this whole family, this ideal family, but him and I at that time we just should not have been together. I was willing to accept a lot of things that I should not have accepted. Like girls used to call me and describe the inside of my apartment.
Oh, damn.
Like for real.
That's crazy.
On a regular. Girls used to call my phone. Back when cell phones with a big Nokia with the antenna that folded up and down went up and down. Bell top mobility.
The minutes.
Yes. Yeah, call me after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I still got minutes.
So like and once I decided that I shouldn't be doing that, it wasn't what he wanted to continue. Of course, he wanted to continue because I'm sitting here with her and you out doing whatever you want in my car with my phone. Like y'all, it was bad.
Yeah,
I went to this man's job and I put flyers on each and every car at his job, president, CEO, vice president, HR. And it was like, I dogged him and the girl he was cheating with. It was bad. Like, I shouldn't have done all that, but I did.
Okay.
And that was it. That was the last thing. But my late husband,
right,
stepped in, just did what he needed to do for her. Him and her father never had any negative interaction. And he was never the type to speak negatively about her father, especially like in her presence. All he did was be a father to her. It was, my daughter had to be 4th grade by the time she realized he was not her real dad.
Wow. And
I ain't even tell her. My mother told her because she actually wanted to know who is this dude that keeps coming to the house. And my mother was like, "That's your father." She's like, "For real?" I don't know why. I just thought that she knew. I wasn't in any rush to tell her though. But
how did she take
whatever.
that?
She was just like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay, because the kids don't know.
But,
they just say okay. They don't know how to process all
basically.
That. Yeah.
But when it came to the person that was there for her, the person that she would have conversation with, the person that she shared memories with, that was my husband. That was who she knew was her dad. They had different last names, of course.
Right.
She never questioned that. I probably should have said something. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was happy in her happiness, or happy with where she was, and having someone in her life that was willing to take care of her and be a role model for her, a good role model for her, and just love her the way that she deserved to be loved. I just feel like all children deserve to be loved by parents.
Right.
Fathers and daughters have this special relationship. Fathers and sons have a special relationship. Mothers and sons have a special relationship. All kids just deserve to have that.
Right. And he just came in and he was just that he was just that type of person. Your late husband, he was okay. That was just who he was. It wasn't like a okay,
good man.
Yeah, he's just a good man.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't a gradual thing. I think he was always good with kids. Even like all the cousins and the other family members that had children, they all loved him. He was just the one that all the kids wanted to be around, and they just knew that they were going to be cared for when he was around, that they were going to be loved on when he was around. He was good with kids and a loving person. We all have faults.
For sure.
But
nobody's perfect.
I cannot say anything negative about that man when it came to these children.
Man,
then we had 2 boys after. The sad part was that my boys did not get an opportunity to really know him before he died. But, we have conversations about him. We have pictures. We talk about him all the time.
Right. How do you...
But my daughter, whew,
she knows. So she'll spread the word. She remembers, so...
She does. She took it really hard.
Yeah, I bet. Man.
Like, needed therapy hard.
Yeah. Man, that's bad. We lose the good ones, and we got a lot of the not so good ones out here.
I know. And
did her real dad ever come around, like start stepping up at all?
Brother lived 5 minutes from us for like 3 or 4 years, and it was like pulling teeth to get him to come have conversations with her because he felt like she should be calling him.
And that's how I know she fought with him on the low, because it's like he called him brother. Like she tried to make it work.
Yeah,
called him man a brother.
Listen, like I did, and it's always been a thing. Every time I used to call and say, "Hey, have you talked to your daughter?" or I would call and say, hey, she's going through this. When my husband died, he came around, just out of the blue, just popped up and was like, I'm going to be around more often. And my daughter was sad because I said, listen, her dad died. She needs a father figure. She needs someone to show her how she deserves to be treated. She needs someone that she can talk to outside of me. She needs you. Oh, okay. And I said, at the time, I think she was 15. And he was like, she's not 15. And we both looked at each other, me and my daughter, like, come on, dude.
Damn.
You were there.
Didn't even know the age.
He didn't even know how old she was. And she remembers that. She remembers that conversation.
You're not going to forget that shit.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, you remember that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
I still tell dudes that story.
But even so, I mean, the type of dude, it don't sound like he would show, good things anyway. I don't know him personally.
Well, this one time, he came to the house one time and left a business card because he was trying to let me know that he had come by. Unfortunately, his business card was of his business of being a male exotic dancer.
What?
So my daughter is the one that pulled the card out of the door. Why, sir, would you leave that? And I called him. I was like, "What the hell would you leave that in the door? Like, she's the one that pulled." I had to. Oh my gosh! Like, man. Call me, text me.
Listen,
something. Don't.
We working on our black men, okay? We know. Listen, we got good guys out here, and we own it, okay? We gonna be talking to our people.
I heard you getting remarried, girl. Let me dance for you at your bachelorette party.
You know any friends out there?
Okay,
would you go to dance at your bachelorette party?
I wouldn't go. I already know what that looked like. I'm good. I'm fine here.
Spicy.
No. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm okay. Whatever.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Got the t-shirt. What were those sound effects?
That's what I was looking for.
Oh my God.
But okay, so you got any we're gonna wrap the call up. You got any lasting statements that you want to give out there to upcoming fathers and people who are fathers now? This is our Father's Day episode, so give them some good advice.
I want to say to fathers, because I'm a social worker. I work with kids in group homes also. Just be a father. No one can tell you how to be a father. You have your own connection with your children, and persevere and push through. I know that sometimes it gets difficult with parents who are no longer together. Believe me, I've seen it. I've worked for defects. I've had those clients. And having to just give people a little bit of motivation to stay the course and to continue to fight. And if you have to fight for visitation, or if you have to fight for time, or if you have to fight for custody, do what you have to do. There are some good people out here that are willing to stand in the corner of fathers who don't have custody or visitation. But there are some of us out here that are willing to fight and help you and to just be on your side. Because sometimes you just need somebody to say, hey, man, I see you and it's going to be okay.
Exactly.
And I see that you're trying. Because, not all dads are bad, not all moms are bad. And I do get hurt when I hear women talk about our men in a negative way unnecessarily. We've had bad experiences, but men have had bad experiences with women also. And it's not across the board. Like, we got to give each other a chance and we got to give each other options. We all make mistakes, and how much grace would you appreciate when you make a mistake, and how much grace do you give? So
there it is. That's the word right there. Well, appreciate you calling in, Cassandra. We'll have this episode out very soon, probably right before Father's Day, so people have time to listen. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your story, man. Shout out to your late husband.
Yeah, shout out.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Right.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, the wrap up. Basic logic, man. What you got
for the wrap up?
Wrapping it up, B.
Nah, this like I said, the last call, she very like that. Like, is she older?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, true.
She said Freaknik.
She had a baby. She had a baby.
She had a baby at Freaknik.
No, and I think
baby.
Like, we have to start having more positive interactions and things of that nature. And accountability. She said what she did, what was wrong.
Yeah.
What they did
on
wrong,
both sides,
how she tried, and
you see how that story sounded a little different.
Yeah, most stories are super one-sided. She came from both sides.
She
that's
put,
but that's the maturity.
Yeah,
like you can hear it in her
Everybody's
voice.
Not like that. You can hear from everybody. So she was able to fully assess the situation, and it came full circle. And that just with us having this podcast together, I want, because I see a lot of times now, especially with social media, there's a lot of bashing on fathers, and I want to make sure that we take the time to celebrate the good fathers that we do have out there, and just positive male figures that are in, kids' lives or whoever are just in the household, because they do matter, and it's not just a child support check or anything like that. The people that actually step up and are there for their household, spiritually, physically, because a lot of times, like, dads kind of get downplayed, like, oh, they're not really needed. Like, they're just there to plant the seed and, maybe for a check once a month and that's it. But fathers are important. I think we need to get back to bigging up fathers, and hopefully on this Father's Day, shout out the good fathers. We hear the negative 24/7. Let's take that,
songs and industries built off of that.
Let's take that one day, to shout out, that positive male figure that you see, and especially the black fathers, because there are a lot of good ones out there, because there's that stigma that goes around it to say that there's so many bad black dads, but we know other races that, are not in their kids' lives, but this isn't that time. This is the time to highlight on the male figures, regardless of race, that, are stepping up and doing good in their households and holding it down, whether it's by far, whether they're, they share custody, or they're step parents, godparents, real fathers, whoever, older brothers, cousins, whoever. They're a positive male father or male figure in that child's life. Big ups to y'all. Keep doing what you're doing.
Boom. All right. C. Niles, what's good, bro?
I like this quote that Chris Rock said about fatherhood.
This nigga been out here Googling.
Nah.
Like good fathers quotes.
Nah, I'm playing Stranger Things. But Chris Rock said this thing about fathers, like how women, so to base a larger point, how sometimes not even just women, society makes it seem like the father isn't important. And he says that, it's like driving a car. You can drive a car with your feet, but that don't mean it's to be done. Like, you can raise a child by yourself, but that don't mean it's to be done. Yeah. So you need fathers out here, like, and I like the new wave. I've been telling everybody the narrative is changing. I do know growing up, deadbeat dads was prevalent. There are probably even some that you knew. Yeah. But as I'm getting older, I see all the men in my circle, they all rock with their kids. Right. I seen black men taking care. I see, because where I live kind of like off Memorial Drive, so I kind of like the hood a little bit, and I see black men with their kids pushing strollers down the street, walking with 2 or 3 babies, like steady moving with kids. So it's like, they're really out here trying, and they want to. I just think that I have a new focus, and I'm working on some things, but I think like the next push really has to be for black fathers to get some type of recompense in a sense. Some of that same help that black mothers get, black fathers who want to be active should be able to get that same type of help. It's a shame that the only programs they have for black fathers is to be CDL drivers. Yeah. And I know there's smart brothers out here.
They do put a lot of black men towards being a truck driver.
They try to put me in a truck driver.
Yeah, even a lot of people who got a college degree, they put them towards that.
They want you to be a truck. And it's like,
that's an abs. You got to be gone to do that.
You got to be gone to do it. And it shows you how the system just wants you to pay that money. Man, so it has to be, the narrative has to change. I see more black women changing the narrative as well. Like, even, shout out to my baby mothers. Like, I love them because they raise my kids and they hold me down and they cool. Like, we have our ups and downs, but over the years, it always gets better. Right. And I think that they notice and they recognize now all black fathers got to be supported, because, like, we want to be with our kids. Like, I know dudes who have kids who want to be with their kids. Right. You know what I mean? Like, my goal, people ask me what I want to do. If I can get it to where I can make money and not work and just invest in my kids, just whatever they want to do, we do. That I'll be full. Do that for my kids and my grandkids, I'll be full. Right.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, man, it was an interesting conversation, man. Like, just getting all those stories, man. And I think now how I feel the narrative is moving to men, black men being more whole. You know what I'm saying? Like before, we were really living a limited life. Like we were living in this small set of emotions. You know what I'm saying? I can get mad. I can get aggressive. I can get excited about sports. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, like we weren't even allowed the ability to be excited about so many things because society told us not to do that, or that wasn't manly, or that wasn't vulnerable. This right. Yeah, it'll be vulnerable. So I think we are coming to a space where we can be more vulnerable. And like I said, America and society hasn't really learned how to accept that yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I look on my post, like I made a post yesterday about this girl keep touching my thigh. You know what I'm saying? And basically, people laughing. People laughing and calling it this, or you know what I'm saying, that. But if a woman, if it was switched, if it was switched, a dude pushing up on a woman, keep touching her closer and closer. She kept going farther and farther up my thigh, bro, every time.
Why you let it grab to me?
See? Do you see them statements right there? Look, I thought you just said we're gonna come to the defense of our men, man. What's up?
I'm just saying that's not a defense. She didn't want to meet.
She probably listen to this podcast too. Don't do that next time, okay? I'm not that guy, okay?
Next time, just grab it.
Be a little easy with me, okay?
Next time, dudes don't like that touching thigh. Just grab it.
Consent. Okay? So don't do that shit next time.
Grab the meat.
And the thing about
for the ladies.
And the thing about it, people will listen to this podcast and they say, man, Kelvin being a punk. KB being a punk.
Yeah.
They'll say that, man, because I've seen girls call men punks for expressing their feelings on posts on my page. And we got somebody come on the podcast that did this. And they'll call him a punk and they'll call him this and that. Are you weak for that?
I done came to the realization that women just want to be paid when they want to be paid equally. Outside of that, everything is still traditional.
Yeah, they want specific equality.
They don't want you to be vulnerable, bro. I be trying. You can't be vulnerable. They'll be facetious with you, be funny with you. You can't be real.
You weak.
You can't be
they'll
weak.
Call you weak.
I'm telling you, like it's not. I think that is not going to change until our children are able to change.
That's too long, bro. I get what you mean, because that's the next generation. Like,
that's how it
the
goes.
new kids are going to be raised not even with the thought process that they have now.
Like,
in my lifetime, I want this shit to change because I want to be expressive. And I think it's based on us building relationships of people, friends and significant others and all this stuff that have your same beliefs, and they, you know what I'm saying, they will live that life with you. They won't fight you and call you weak and all that. Like, okay, if you call me that, I'm gonna explain to you how that feel. And like, hey man, if you feel like that, then maybe we don't need to hang out. You know what I'm saying? Because this is how I feel as a person. If you care about me, you're gonna take that and really think about what you just said or did to make me feel that way.
Boy, we're still gonna roast you. I don't know.
No, you can listen. You can roast. No.
Yeah, the jokes are gonna come, but I should be able to express myself.
Jokes is jokes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas don't be talking about shit anyway. Joe weak as fuck now. Anyway, but hey man, thanks for y'all tuning in, man. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. We might just go and put this out Tuesday, man.
You is the Pappy.
Yeah, this the Pappy episode. We need a good title.
You is the Pappy.
You is the Pappy?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
I the Pappy.
Congratulations. I the Pappy. Congratulations.
I the Pappy.
I the Pappy episode. Okay.
I the Pappy episode.
But yeah, man, y'all thanks for tuning in, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow us. Make sure y'all review us, man. I'm gonna start shouting out these reviews on the podcast, man. So y'all make sure y'all review us on iTunes, man. That really helps the podcast.
5 star.
5 stars. We need reviews.
We need good reviews. I want you to tell me what you like about the podcast. Tell me a favorite episode. All that, man. We on Instagram. We on Facebook. We on Twitter. We everywhere.
YouTube.
Everywhere. We about to come with these crispy ass photos.
Crispy,
you know what I'm saying?
With the drip.
Yeah. So y'all look out for that.
She was feeling this. We did our thing.
Hey man, but yeah, man, we out, man. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Yep.